head coach Jim Fossil, but a big win last week over the previously unbeaten Vikings.
Well, it was a big win. They needed that. They needed to go beat a good team to let themselves know and to remind themselves that they're a good team. But really for the Giants right now, it's put up or shut up. I mean, we could put up all kinds of recognizable faces and all kinds of impressive stats, but it's time for this team to start stacking some wins together. Now, look, they're the better football team out here today, but if the Jets are going to have a chance to win this game, they do a couple of things well. They're the least penalized team in the league. They've had the fewest turnovers, but I think today for them to win, their defensive line has got to dominate the offensive line of the New York Giants.
And the Jets do lead the NFL in sacks with 26. Time now for our Sprint virtual coach question. How many losses will the Kansas City Chiefs finish the season with? You can vote using your PCS Vision phone from Sprint or by logging on to foxsports.com. The Battle of New York coming up. Bragging rights at stake.
I'm challenging you to keep the other guys off their ass, all right? Go. I'm 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Today, 66 degrees. Feels like September. We are in November, and that is good news for the Jets. 7-0, perfect in November, Brian, the last 2 years under Herm Edwards.
Yeah, you know, it was today was the New York City Marathon. I already ran my 26 miles, Ken. I finished strong at the finish line today. Herm Edwards, perfect in the month of November, his first 2 years.
So you've been through all 5 boroughs already.
Oh, man, I tell you. And all we want to do is talk about football. A lot of emotion in the stadium today.
The Giants, playing their 4th road game here at Giants Stadium, have won the toss. Doug Bryan getting set to kick off for the 2-5 Jets. Giants at 3-4. And we are underway. Brian Mitchell from the 9-yard line. Out to the 23. 14-yard return. Kenyatta Wright with a hard hit on special teams.
Well, this is a game of emotion, especially when these two teams play, which isn't very often, and it started on the opening kickoff right there. Kenyatta Wright knocked Brian Mitchell right off his feet.
Giants offense ranked 3rd. Kerry Collins, a big reason why, leads the NFL in attempts and completions. 2nd in yards to Steve McNair. Giants start from their own 23-yard line. Tiki Barber, the lone back. And the give is to Barber, running against the 31st ranked rushing defense of the Jets. And Tiki gains 6 on first down, setting up 2nd down and 4. 2 rookie guards, Wayne Lucier, who was sick all week. David Deal, the right guard. Barber with New Jersey native Jim Finn. Monty Toomer, Ike Hilliard, the wide receivers. Jeremy Shockey leading all NFL tight ends with 37 receptions. On 2nd and 4, Collins to the air for the first time, incomplete. Tiki Barber unable to hold on. Jets ranked 13th defensively. They lead the league in sacks. Sean Ellis with a league-high 9. Brian Thomas starting for the injured John Abraham. Victor Hobson starting for the injured Mo Lewis, who is on the inactive list today. Sam Garnes, a former Giant, spent his first 5 seasons with the Giants. 2nd and 4, the 3rd and 4, the pitch to Barber. Look to cut it back inside, and he loses a yard. So the Jets defense holds on the Giants' opening possession.
Well, you know, I tell you, you look at the Giants out here today at Giants Stadium. This is definitely an away game. The noise here is deafening. A little late off the ball, and there's the speed of the Jets right now. That defensive line has got to do that today to keep Tiki in check and to pressure Kerry Collins.
Jeff Fiegels punting from his own 15. Good pressure. Fielded by Santana Moss at the 33. Out across the 40 to the 41. 8-yard return. Setting up terrific field position for the Jets following the 41-yard punt. Chad Pennington came on late 2nd quarter in Philadelphia last Sunday in relief of Vinny Testaverde. And today, Brian making his first start of the season, only his 13th career start.
Well, he came on with 5:37 to go in the second quarter last week, and he said it felt like opening day to him. You see the offensive line that's going to be protecting him behind four-time Pro Bowler Kevin Mawae, and then Santana Moss, making his fourth start this year, has really been the guy that's been coming on for him and looking like the #1 pick that they picked 3 years ago.
Beck shifting. Pennington throwing on first down. And the fullback, Gerald Soule, tackled at midfield, close to a first down. For the Giants, they are ranked 17th defensively. Michael Strahan, the reigning NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Lance Legris starting for the injured Cornelius Griffin. Mike Barrow in the middle. Brandon Short, Giants linebacker who put out Pennington during the preseason. Allen and Brown on the corners. Stoutmeyer and Williams are the safeties. Soule did pick up the first down. He gained 10 on the Jets' first play from scrimmage. From midfield, Pennington to the air again, and this a bit high off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Curtis Conway.
Well, you see that throw right there by Chad Pennington. Last year when they were on a roll, he probably makes that throw, that completion. You got to remember now, a lot of these players are starting their 8th game of the season right now. Chad's making his first start. So, you know, with that, you got to find the timing. You got to find the rhythm. You can sit in the meetings and he sees the field. He's a smart guy, very high IQ. But the game tempo, you can never assimilate that in practice. You can only get that in the game, so it's going to take a little time for that to come on.
He drove the Jets 72 yards on his first drive last week. First carry for Curtis Martin. And Martin gains 8 down to the 42-yard line. Tackled from behind by Omar Stoutmeyer, setting up 3rd down and 2. Well, it was late August 23rd, here at the Meadowlands. Brandon Short, taking Pennington down, suffered a dislocated hand. And now we see the progression. It has been incorrectly reported that it was a dislocated wrist, but Chad told us it was the area connecting the bottom of the fingers to the wrist.
Well, he said the metacarpals. You know, right. Chad knows the medical terms, and he says he knows way more about that injury than he ever needs to know.
And does not wish to learn any more about it. On 3rd and 2, good second effort by Curtis Martin, spinning inside the 40 to the 39, and looks to have another first down for the Jets.
Well, you know, Curtis Martin is a guy that got off to a slow start last year and came on. Got off to a slow start this year, but has been coming on and running the ball much better. And that's the best friend for Chad Pennington today, is a good, sound running game, because everything they do is based off that success. It's play action passes, the pass game down the field. It all is predicated upon them moving the line of scrimmage early.
From the 39, off the play fake, Pennington to the tight end, Anthony Beck. Beck down to the 29-yard line of the Giants. Another first down. Jets moving the football very well.
Well, here's the play action fake. I mean, Chad Pennington is as crafty as there is in this league. Maybe Peyton Manning in Indianapolis is as good, but this is his hallmark. That's his specialty. He takes it very serious. He takes as much interest in his ball fakes as he does in reading a defense and his completion percentage and getting balls into the end zone and touchdown passes.
Pennington stays late, studies film of Joe Montana, Rich Gannon, some of the guys who are terrific at ball fakes.
Well, he said that a lot of times Paul will go back, Paul Hackett, the offensive coordinator, will pull out tapes of Joe Montana to show him what he was doing. And Chad's already seen it. He's already pulled it out on his own. And Chad Pennington's time over at Eubanks Hall there with the Jets practice facility is as long as Herman Edwards. Coach Herb comes in, Chad comes in. He leaves, that's when he leaves. And long days, and really, you know, he puts a lot on himself to know it more than he has to.
He's the son of a coach. His dad, a longtime high school coach. So Chad's been watching film since he was in the crib.
Man, I don't think there was a clicker then. You know, I think he had to climb out of the crib, push the channel, push the play. But this is what he did last week. The opening drive last week took the team down the field. They had an unfortunate turnover in that drive, but really got confident right away.
From the Giants' 29-yard line. Cutting to the left, Martin. Martin inside the 20. finally forced out of bounds after a gain of 9 more yards.
Pretty interesting talking to Paul Hackett about his running game. They were so concerned about Mike Strahan in the running game that they said that they were going to run left today, away from him. They weren't sure if the right tackle, Kareem McKenzie, up here, could block Strahan one-on-one. So you'll see the Jets go left a lot early in this game. And the Jets are a right-handed team. They like to run right, but that's not a bad way to take care of Strahan there.
Martin stopped just shy of the marker. Moss in motion on 2nd and 1. And Martin tackled at the line by Mike Barrow.
So, Kenny, if you're going to run right and you're going to run at Strahan, you got to get a double team on him. This is a good double team right at the point. They run right behind us. See McKenzie 67 and Anthony Beck there. That's a good job. They take Strahan, they wash him up into the soup there. Dave Zott comes pulling around. Little power over there, good power football, setting up this 3rd and short.
Jets have already picked up 3 first downs during their opening possession of this afternoon's game. 2 tight ends. 3rd and 1. Lamont Jordan has the first down and more. His first carry of the day inside the 15. Down to the 13-yard line. Jets needed 1, and Jordan gained 7.
Well, they like Lamont Jordan at short yards and goal line because he's so powerful. From the waist down, he's just so big. Big thighs. A very powerful guy. He gets low. He's able to get underneath the defenders there, actually knock them back like he's a fullback here. Knocking Omar Statmeyer back along with Ralph Brown. Good power running right inside.
Jets started on their own 40. Giants with the #1 red zone defense in the NFC. Here's Martin. Martin down to the 11, a gain of 2. Jets have scored on their opening drive, Brian, in 5 of 7 games this season. They've gotten off to good starts.
Well, you look in the middle there, that makes everything go for the Jets is Kevin Mawai, their 4-time Pro Bowler. And, you know, and he's just one of those guys. I mean, he's lined up for 9 straight years in a row. Never misses a game. You know, he's just one of those guys that you can count on. Very smart, controls things in the middle for him. And him and Pennington on the same page with all of their protections.
They started the last 4 Pro Bowls for the AFC. Here's Martin on 2nd and 8. With the push down to the 7-yard line. Setting up another 3rd down situation for the Jets. Jets only 7 red zone touchdowns in 18 possessions, while the Giants have the best percentage defensively in the red zone in the NFC.
Hasn't thrown anything out to his wide receivers yet. You see 3 to the left side. Wayne Corbett, Santana Moss, all out there in
Curtis Conway
all the way spread out left.
We're down at 4. Jets have to get to the 4 for a first down. Pennington, wide open, touchdown, Santana Moss. Moss reaching the end zone for the 4th consecutive game.
Said that Santana Moss had to be the guy. Had to be the guy that took over for Lavernius Coles, and he's been coming on. And what a play call by Paul Hackett and execution by Pennington and Moss.
So the Jets strike first, a 60-yard drive. Doug Bryan for the point after. Jets 7, Giants nothing. 8-yard touchdown pass, Chad Pennington.
Straight ahead, tries to pop it outside and does a stiff arm, and he's brought down at the 45-yard line. Mike Brown with the saving tackle, but it's a gain of 13.
And guys, when you see LT making some big things happen, keep an eye on his fullback, Lorenzo Neal, one of the best fullbacks in the National Football League. Look at that shot, and then he opens up some big holes. He's a guy today. If LT's going to have success, Lorenzo isn't too far from it. Let's watch the shot inside. There it is. You see that big blow right inside to the linebacker.
First down and 10, play action. Breeze dumps it over the middle, and this time he gets Jesse Chapman. Chapman dropped at the 39, but a good check down for Breeze. He looked to the sideline, nobody home, and he dumps it off, and the Chargers pick up 9.
What do you know? A first down pass. And that's what you got to do. And Drew Brees, there's been a talk about him struggling, and Coach Schottenheimer, I know he's set in his ways, and he's had a formula that's been tremendously successful for him over the years. But sometimes you got to just come out of what you do all the time, get your quarterback comfortable, and maybe the rest of the offense as well.
2nd and 1 at the 38, a great time for play action, but they hand it off to Jesse Chapman looking for a yard, and Brian Urlacher grabs him and brings him down. This week on NFL.com, Vic Carucci hands out his midseason awards. See who he says is making a difference this year. It's only at NFL.com or at NFL on AOL.
We got ours coming up too.
That's right.
I haven't seen yours. I hope you had some decent insight this year.
I don't know. I don't think you'll like them as usual. So the Chargers didn't pick up the first down. Makes it 3rd down and 1 at the 38. Chapman stays in the game. David Boston splits to the top of your screen. Lorenzo Neal, the fullback. Play clock winding down. And it's LaDainian Tomlinson instead. Tomlinson gets to the 34-yard line, picks up the first down, a gain of 3.
Well, everybody in the stadium knew that LaDainian Tomlinson was going to get the ball, and of course the Bears.
Except me.
Well, yeah. Well, that's almost everybody. But the Bears, a lot of 8-man fronts today. They're going to have to bring the safety up. A lot of 8-man, maybe some 9-man to stop LaDainian Tomlinson, almost daring the Chargers to throw the ball down the field. The Chargers have thrown the ball a lot more short and intermediate this year, haven't taken as many cracks down the field.
First down and 10 at the Chicago 35. They fake the reverse. Tomlinson making people miss, gets to the 30. Jerry Azuma hauls him in. But when we talked to the Bears on Friday, they told us that they were well aware of Tomlinson and they knew he was going to get his yards, but if you missed and you fell down, you better get up because he may end up running right back next to you.
That's exactly right, because he can bounce east and west, and probably the closest guy in this league to Barry Sanders. And a lot of the Bears, including Brian Urlacher, who never even played against Barry, has watched film of him, said, hey, this guy is the closest thing. A lot of darting and dashing and bouncing and hopping and moving 2 ways at the same time.
2nd and 5 at the Chicago 30. And some movement on that right side of the offensive line for San Diego.
Boy, and speaking of the right side of that offensive line, got a couple rookies over there.
Start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Chargers playing without their starting right tackle today, Solomon Page. Probably their best blocker on the offensive line, and Courtney Van Buren is filling in for him. Phil Bogle as well at guard, 2 rookies, and look for the Chargers to run LT a little bit more to the left side, Gus.
Solomon Page out with an ankle injury. So Van Buren, the rookie from Arkansas Pine Bluff, gets the start. Reeves throwing on the run, finds David Boston, and David Boston tackled out of bounds at the 26. Now you talk about an enigma. David Boston is a hard guy to figure out, so talented.
And he's going to get an opportunity to get a play. Watch what the play action does. You see it freezes Brian Urlacher right there. Safety stepping up right here, number 53 for the Bears as well. Freezes him. Warwick Holdman doesn't allow him to get back into his zone. You see David Boston coming across. And Gus, you mentioned David Boston being an enigma. He clearly has talent. He just has to get into it, the mindset.
And on 3rd down and 1. Looks like San Diego comes up short. Lance Briggs shoots the gap. The rookie from Arizona makes a nice play, and that will bring on the San Diego field goal unit.
Boy, and if you're a Bears fan, you're gonna love Lance Briggs. He just flies around full speed and hits people. Watch number 55 cutting right in there, right into the hole. And man, you talk about sniffing it out, and he just explodes into that hole.
Steve Christie in to attempt the 46-yarder, and it won't happen for San Diego. It's blocked.
4 and 3, 2nd down and 10. After that, Tuiasosopo incompletion from the 13-yard line. And he goes deep this time, incomplete, looking for Jerry Porter, covered on the play by former Dolphin Brian Walker.
You know, Rich Gannon's going to be a guy that Tuiasosopo is going to really need on the sidelines, because you couldn't ask for a better mind football-wise, especially in this offense, than Rich Gannon. Because he's going to go back there, and he's seen some different things, I think, from the normal Detroit defense, only because Detroit's running so much more of a simplistic approach. And right now, that going deep isn't where you attack a cover two. And Rich Gannon, you see his career numbers. He knows how to attack just about any kind of defense.
5 in the secondary for the Lions. 4 down linemen. Porter is the slot receiver. Make it the 3rd receiver for the Raiders. 13, 3rd and 10. Porter has it, banged around, and got the first down. 25-yard line. He was hit by Bracy Walker. He picks up 12 on 3rd and 10 to the 25.
Remember, he got hit right in the stomach just now. He's holding on that ball where Walker hit him, and Joey Porter had that hernia surgery earlier in the year, and he told us yesterday, double hernia. He says, hey, look, it still hurts me. I'm just now getting my stride back. And hey, Tuiasosopo just got that ball off for Rodgers, put a little smushing on him.
We've got an injury timeout in Detroit.
Tell during that one commercial, he kind of looked up and says, I need 2 plays. So that was 1. This will be 2.
2nd down and short 7. And look at the slippery Gardner breaking one tackle after another. And he's finally brought down in the secondary by Bracy Walker. It is a first down. A good-looking run of 13 yards to the 41-yard line.
Well, Raider fans are familiar with the fact that when things aren't going well, you just don't seem to do the basic stuff well. I talked about the stance that Boss Bailey had with being very basic but being fundamentally sound. And where's the tackling? There's arm tackling. And when things aren't going well and you're losing football games, those little things, the basic fundamentals, get away from a football team.
Wheatley in the backfield with Crockett, 41 of Detroit for the Raiders, who have missed a field goal of 55 yards. And it's Tyrone Wheatley, and he's brought down by Earl Holmes. Wheatley from here in Detroit, Inkster, Michigan. He was the Michigan High School Player of the Year. To Marcus Allen on the sideline.
Well, Jerry Porter just got the wind knocked out of him, guys. It happened to me several times. It's a horrible feeling. You try to breathe, and there's just nothing there. But he's back, up and around, guys. He'll be back in the game shortly.
2nd down and 7. Thank you, Marcus, from the 44-yard line.
I didn't know people caught Marcus enough to knock the wind out of him. He was to falling on the ball when it happened.
He's feeling sorry for Porter. We were just saying, 7th play of the drive. Wheatley remains in the backfield. Wheatley played in Detroit for the Giants earlier in his career. And Tuiasosopo outside again to Jerry Rice. Evans and a fumble on the play. And it's picked up. That is Barrett Green, a linebacker, hurdling a defender and down to the Raider 12. It is the 2nd Detroit turnover today. A 39.
Jacksonville called on that penalty.
Well, this drive started at the Jacksonville 11-yard line, and now they're starting to get some momentum. I think it's predicated on their ability to run the football. Of the 6 plays, 4 of them have been run plays. We saw Chris Fuamatu-Mafala, Fred Taylor. They're starting to get it going running the ball.
Fake the pitch, instead the handoff. Fred Taylor running into a crowd and crossing into Baltimore territory. Lewis and Boulware combined to bring him down. A 3-yard gain. You see scores from around the NFL, Week 9. And this is where the separation begins to take place in certain divisions, but in the one that Baltimore is battling in, it seems to change every week.
There are contenders. There are some pretenders also. And the month of November is where you start to see that separation. Then as you get into December, then we begin to see how things are going to declare themselves.
Brian Billick, 11-5 in his head coaching tenure here in Baltimore in the month of November. Leftwich throws on the quick strike to Jimmy Smith. So Jacksonville isn't looking for anything downfield. They're just looking for the dink and dunk right now in this Baltimore defense. It's a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to take some shots up the football field. If you're going to create some running room, Jimmy Smith can still get deep. He caught a 49-yard touchdown pass last week from Byron Leftwich, and Byron can get the ball out there. So you're going to have to stretch this defense and try to challenge them on the back end and create some room to run the football.
13 career games for Smith against Baltimore. He's got 10 touchdowns versus the Ravens. Out of the gun, flag down, Leftwich throw, sliding attempt by Brady, incomplete. on a 3rd and 2. And Leftwich took a hit from Terrell Suggs. Ed Reed came up limping a bit.
Offside, number 20, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And it's Reed who's caught on the penalty of first down for Jacksonville.
Well, Reed was trying to time the blitz, and as he came up, he got there prematurely. He had to stop, and then he slipped and fell down, fell right into the neutral zone.
And the line of scrimmage is now the 39-yard line of Baltimore. Second penalty charged against the Ravens. LeBrandon Toefield now on the field for Jacksonville. And here's Toefield breaking through. Toefield is spun down just short of the 20. The rookie out of LSU. And another good block up front for Maurice Williams.
Well, this ball is going to hit right there, right to the right side of the center, Brad Meester. And then they're hitting it inside. Look at the block by the fullback. Look, Mark Edwards didn't have to hit anyone. Ray Lewis whiffed on the tackle. And Toefield just finds a running lane, continue to advance it into the secondary.
And the longest run of Toefield's career, 18 yards at a 1st and 10 from the 21. Taylor is back out there for Jacksonville. He'll get the call. Taylor able to turn it upfield, and Fred Taylor remaining on his feet for a first down. Jacksonville is running effectively on this Baltimore defense. Late stages first quarter, a 10-yard run.
Yeah, they told us here's where it's going to hit. Look over here. That's, of course, Peter Boulware. It's going to break right over on the left side of the offensive line. Mike Pearson, he's a guy that struggled last week. He said, if we can run the football, I'll do better in pass protection. You see, he comes out, he pins Peter Boulware, then they're able to bounce it outside.
Only one running back this year has gone over 100 yards against this Baltimore defense. Danian Tomlinson. And Chris Fuamatu-Ma'afala gets the call, a 2-yard gain. And it hasn't been Taylor. It's been a combination with Fu and Toefield and Taylor all mixing into the running attack right now for Jacksonville.
Well, when your offensive line comes out and I think make a concerted effort that they're going to get physical in terms of running the football. Doesn't matter who you hand the ball to, as long as they're making good decisions, hitting the hole aggressively and then holding on to it. And that's why they're moving the football. It all starts up front with the offensive line.
76 rushing yards so far for Jacksonville, 9 yards through the air. The second quarter here in Baltimore, something just doesn't seem right with these numbers.
And here it is. Look at that. 76 rushing yards for Jacksonville and only 9 for Baltimore. It's not what you expect. You expect Baltimore to be able to hammer that ball through with Jamal Lewis.
And the inequity in the passing yards so far as well. 2nd and 8, double tight end set for Jacksonville. They're knocking on the door. First play of the second quarter. Handoff, it's Fred Taylor, and he runs directly into the line. A 1-yard gain. Gregg and Hartwell collaborate to make the stop.
And this is where Jacksonville needs other players to step up on their offensive football team. They need Kyle Brady. They need some of the other receivers other than Jimmy Smith to make plays in the red zone. They've gotten the production from Jimmy Smith. Now we need some of the other guys like J.J. Stokes and Troy Edwards and, as we said, Kyle Brady to make a play and put this team on the scoreboard.
A long drive for Jacksonville. Baltimore again in their dime set on 3rd down. Leftwich on the dump off, looking to accelerate Taylor. He cannot. And Jacksonville is going to have to settle for a field goal try. Peter Boulware brings down Taylor from behind.
Jets fans have seen enough of Brandon Short. First play of the second quarter. Play action on 1st and 10. And Collins under pressure throws it out of bounds. He had Brian Thomas in his face.
Yeah, you know, and the Jets are defending really well right now. See a illegal man downfield for the Jets here. They wanted to run it, or for the Giants, they wanted to run a screen that time to either Shockey or Tiki to the other side. Both of them were covered. The offensive linemen on screens, they're taught to count 1 1,000, 2 1,000, and then release. And so they just think the ball's going to be out of their hands.
Downfield, number 74 is declined. 2nd down.
And when Jim Fossil thinks about an illegal man downfield, he has to think back to that San Francisco playoff game when Rich Seibert was called for that same penalty, and then next day the league said, well, he was
Well, he was interfered. He was a legal receiver.
Yep.
Eligible receiver on that botched field goal.
On 2nd and 10, Collins to the outside. Shockey. Forced out of bounds by Victor Hudson after a gain of 4.
One thing I like about Shockey is the way that he catches the ball. I mean, he uses his hands. He's not a body catcher. He likes to go get the ball at its highest point. And I almost think that receivers have to start doing that more in the NFL. Watch Shockey. As soon as he gets his hands on the ball, it basically takes it away from the defensive player's chance to get it. Go get it at its highest and earliest point.
Second catch of the game for Shockey. 3rd down and 6. Giants have to get just in. And the end result, Santana Moss gained just 1 yard. So Pennington on 2nd and 9 put a little too much on it. Looking for Moss once again.
That's Will Allen on Santana Moss, and Will Allen had
made the stop, and he is right at the 1st down marker.
when he was at Syracuse, Santana Moss was at Miami.
And he told us Santana is as fast as Randy Moss, just not as tall.
Yeah. Santana Moss said that he spent the offseason down at the University of Miami getting stronger, working in the weight room. His legs are a lot stronger than they've ever been.
3rd down at 9. Down goes Pennington, and it looks like Lance LeGree fell on it. The 3rd Jets turnover.
Can't tell where it happened.
Hand-to-hand with Jason Taylor.
Answer for the 2nd. Pennington never felt him. That was the former.
You tackle him. And the Bears had told us they're going to take their cracks full speed at LaDainian, because if you sit there and break down and try to dance with him, he's going to make you look silly. Urlacher, Briggs, and company have done a spectacular job keeping him in check thus far.
3rd down, 7 at the 14. White in motion. Play action. Breeze.
Take a look at this full speed. You see him tuck it with the receivers not there. Nobody in the 2nd level. Wow. You see Doug Flutie, Gus, make that quick decision. There's nobody around him for 15 or 20 yards. His receivers are downfield. The Bears might want to go ahead and get a spy in there on Doug Flutie.
Best drive of the day so far for San Diego. Play action. They dump it off to the tight end, and this is Peel. And Peel gets inside the 10, stopped by Bobby Gray after a 7-yard pickup.
All right, Gus, we've seen 3 play-action passes on 1st down. And not to take anything away from Drew Brees, but does it seem like the play calling's been more aggressive since Doug Flutie's been in there? Yes. I don't think there's any question. And those are some of the things that we talked about in the first half. You've got to run some play action on 1st down. They weren't doing that. You need to mix it up. Show some of your other weapons.
2nd and 4 at the 8. Tomlinson following his blocks. Tomlinson goes down inside the 5 at about the 3-yard line.
And, you know, I think this is just the threat of passing the ball, the threat of Doug Flutie running. All of a sudden, if you're a Bears linebacker or a defensive lineman, you're saying, hey, I've got to start thinking about all these other things, when the whole week, the whole day, you've been worried about LaDainian Tomlinson. Now you're concerned about other things, so it takes a little of the focus off LT. Now LT is going to have a chance for some bigger holes, some bigger gaps, and have a chance to get up onto that 2nd and 3rd level.
1st and goal at the 3-yard line. Tomlinson looking. Touchdown San Diego, just like that. And all of a sudden, we have ourselves a ball game. Doug Flutie comes off the bench and leads them right down the field for 6.
It's amazing that it was that simple, and the Chargers have a different bounce in their step. All of a sudden, the focus is off Doug Flutie, or off LaDainian Tomlinson, because Flutie's in there. It threw a wrench into the Bears' defensive plans, and just that slight hesitation, you're worried about Flutie on the boot.
Top of your screen. There it is. Miller with an outstanding catch, and Tim Ryan, you called it. Touchdown, Texans.
There's those wide receiver hands that we were talking about for Billy Miller. And again, I think an area, they win it at halftime, and Chris Palmer says we've got to exploit the middle of the field, and they do it here because there's a mismatch there with the linebacker.
Get it done at the end. Got a chance here today.
Jets have to drive 86 yards. And on the first play of the drive, pass intended for Curtis Conway is broken up by Will Allen.
Well, you know, if you're Curtis Conway there and you can't get the ball, you become a defender. And you knock that ball down. That's what Conway did. Get the ball down the field. You got.
We'll have to kind of encapsulate this to show the mistakes, because there's been a few of them. We have to go fast. Jerry Rice, the interception by Tuiasosopo. Jerry Rice fumbles the ball. Interception right there by Rick Mirer. It's been a tale really for the Oakland Raiders. They have made a lot.
But again, I think you look at this game as a perfect example of this team is not your typical franchise expansion.
Pennington's pass to Santana Moss is caught short. Question is where they spot it. Moss had to come back to make the catch, and a late flag as well. So the clock stops with 2:27 remaining in the fourth.
With the day that Keyshawn's had today, I think you just keep going back to it.
Number 58 will be assessed from the end of the run. First down.
Receivers on second down. Up top for Keyshawn, fighting on the other side with Ashley.
Shoulder into him. Didn't hit him in the head, but I guess he was a little bit late there. Barrows, you know, he doesn't know. He's looking right at the ribs of Chad Pennington. He can't tell if he's throwing the ball or not.
Pennington had just released the football when he took the hit from Barrow. Tough call for the Giants. A first down for the Jets from their own 38. Pennington, nice soft touch to Gerald Soule down the sidelines into Giants territory.
Brad Johnson being pressured. Keyshawn Johnson tried to make the adjustment but couldn't.
This definitely ain't the preseason, Ken. You could tell that there's a lot on the line right here.
More than just bragging rights.
Yep.
Giants looking to get back to the 500 mark. Jets looking to salvage their season. Inside handoff to Martin. Broke a couple of tackles and spins down to the 34-yard line. He is over the 100-yard mark for the second time this season, but more importantly, is close for the first down. Looks to be just short as we hit the 2-minute warning. Jets on the move. They need a touchdown. 2 minutes to go from the Meadowlands.
Plays, it's usually a hurry-up offense, and trying to rush a passer, it's like a mini wrestling match. You're working, you're straining against a huge offensive lineman, and whether you beat him or not, when that pass goes off, then your job, Kurt, is to race downfield to where the football is.
And remember how hot it is today. And the high temperature was expected to be 86 degrees. It was already in the mid-80s at kickoff. And both these teams have been on the field in the sun for a long time.
I'll tell you one thing the Saints defense has not done today, Kurt, is they really have not blitzed Brad Johnson very much at all. They've relied on their front four to get the pressure on the Tampa quarterback.
Bucks have to get it to the 20 here on fourth down. This will be a free play for Johnson. For McCurdo, makes the catch. Touchdown, Buccaneers.
Welcome to the party, those of you that watch Carolina and Houston. Carolina going down to defeat, and the Buccaneers, who are down 14-0 in the fourth quarter, have just come back to tie it on a touchdown reception by Keenan McCardell.
5 turnovers today for Tampa Bay.
Following their last touchdown.
Harry Collins, with a 3-yard run to get the 2 points and to make it a 7-point difference.
Down to a minute 35 remaining. Pennington
looking for Moss.
He's got him. He's got it. Out of bounds. Stepped out of bounds at the 2. Santana Moss, 31-yard reception, stepped out just outside the 2-yard line.
And Frankie Walker falls down on this. Should have been illegal contact right there anyways, but Moss not quite able to walk that tightrope. Right foot steps out right there. Almost the 4th time today that he thought he hooked up. Now, did both feet get in bounds?
Remember, a team cannot challenge in the final 2 minutes. This would come down from the replay booth.
No, this is it. I mean, left foot is in, but now if the right foot steps out here, that won't be a catch.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, no, right there. Both feet not in bounds.
Indeed, Miami calls timeout to stop the clock here with 2:56 to play.
You're trying to stop the Indianapolis Colts from picking up a first down. Watch, the safety, Brock Marion, comes up. They got all these defenders. They're going to stop a run if it goes to the right. Junior Seau in the gap. Look at that. And somehow, Edgerrin James finds a little space. Good blocking by Jeff Saturday up front. Rick DeMoline again. Boy, I've said his name a lot today. Excellent job. Allows them to pick up 8 yards on first down.
And takes a look.
The 20-yard line. Whitting and Porter join Brown and Rice. 3rd and 10, 20-yard line, and Meyer was hit. Incomplete. Kalimba Edwards.
Yeah, there's as much indecision in those guys as there is on the field
After
amongst the
reviewing
players.
the play, the receiver's second foot was out of bounds. We have an incomplete pass.
Like that on Meyer.
So it is 4th down and a long 10. They need the 30-yard line.
The Bears mentioning, remember, Gannon hurt shoulder.
Yes.
Tuiasosopo, MCL tear. Meyer, the only healthy quarterback for the Raiders.
Meyer throws on the fly, caught by Rice, should have the first down.
So it will be a 2nd and 10 for the Jets.
Well, if I'm the Jets, I come right back to that play. Frankie Walker will be right back out there, same formation, line it up, and go run the play again. Now they don't. They put Moss. We're seeing Santana Moss in the slot this time against Will Allen.
We welcome those of you who have just joined us. Chad Pennington complete to Gerald Soule. Gains just 1. Dhani.
I think they're trying to review. We're inside 2 minutes, so they're going to.
Minute 10 remaining. Jets on the move. Chad Pennington with 3 touchdown passes today, all to Santana Moss. Pennington back on 3rd and 9. Robbing one for Quebec. Wrapped up at the 25. Shy of the first down. Jets use their final timeout. They will spot it at the 24.
How about, remember Cleveland a couple weeks ago, and Rice got a knee down, and they thought he didn't.
They get it. Michael Lewis into Tampa Bay territory. Tripped up by David Gibson, but a gain of 18.
Just to remind everyone, Tampa Bay, without John Lynch, starters safety John Lynch, and cornerback Brian Kelly, they're being replaced by Wansley. Jermaine Phillips was the backup for Lynch, but he's hurt.
Here's Brooks. McAllister out of the backfield. Nice open field tackle.
During the preseason, came on in relief last week. Redskins and Cowboys, many of you will see that NFC East battle coming up after the Jets and the Giants meeting in the regular season for only the 10th time. They will not play again until 2007.
You know, the Jets didn't come back to win that game against the Eagles last week, but Chad Pennington said that he felt good about the way the offense was working, the way he moved the team. Now, he said he can't do anything about the record or the situation they're in, but he felt like, you know, the team responded, and he was able to make good plays in that game. They just couldn't finish it. Now he has a chance here today in his second action this year to finish it, as the Jets try to get lined up properly.
Curtis Martin, the lone back. Play clock winding down, and this may help the Jets. The Giants call timeout.
Goal range.
One thing you can be sure about with Saints quarterback Aaron Brooks, who has not had a great day today by any means. He's thrown some really inaccurate passes, but he will maintain his composure in a critical situation like this. With a tie score, with no timeouts left, Aaron Brooks is one of those guys who seems to rise to that kind of occasion.
Kearney has missed from 40 today, but his season long is 50. Deuce McAllister. And McAllister will...
Raiders have turned it over 3 times. 3 Detroit turnovers they've capitalized on from Oakland.
And then the subsequent 2-point conversion run by Kerry Collins gave the Giants a 28-14 lead. Pennington came back with his 3rd touchdown pass to Santana Moss to cut it to 7. 50 seconds remaining, 4th down and 2. Pennington's pass is caught for a 1st down by Moss. Santana Moss down to the Giants' 9-yard line.
Pennington should just kill this ball here. Line up and just throw it to the ground. Go to 2nd down. Clutch, huh? Wow. All those things that we saw from Chad Pennington a year ago are showing up here in his first start. And Pennington clearly is his guy. Santana Moss becoming his go-to guy, having a career day out here this afternoon.
Eight catches for Moss, 94 yards.
And the Giants look helpless in this situation right here.
2nd and goal following the spike from the 9. Pennington to the end zone.
Get in there.
He's got it. Touchdown.
I don't know how that ball got through. I'm telling you, the guy's got a magic wand, because that's the only way that ball got through 4 defenders' hands.
3rd touchdown catch of the year for the tight end, Anthony Becht.
Watch this throw between Ralph Brown .
Steve Mariucci and the Detroit Lions have just
Man. There's no reason to look at that right here.
Drive here, Aaron Brooks made some critical passes. Carney comes through.
John Carney, who began his NFL career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in 1987, comes in and sticks a dagger in their heart. And with 8 seconds left, the Bucs find themselves down by 3 and on the
good first-round draft, would you say?
Jets accumulating
Look at that.
picks after the trade of Keyshawn Johnson.
The anticipation of that throw and the confidence. There's a lot of quarterbacks in this league that never attempt that throw.
Pennington's 4th touchdown pass, which ties his career best. Did it against Detroit and Green Bay last season.
Well, you look at Pennington there, and you make that throw in a tough situation. Time ticking down, timeouts out. You've had those turnovers today. The ability to flush all the bad plays and concentrate on the next one.
The play stance is called on the field. We have a touchdown.
So now
down with this football is a remarkable play.
He was shaken up. Penalty marker on the play.
For the point after.
Illegal touching of the pass. Number 85 of the offense. He went out of bounds, reestablished back in bounds, but was the first player to touch the ball. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is an interception. First down.
It's a moot point. Baltimore's got the football after the turnover. For Lewis, his 2nd interception of the season. Byron Leftwich was driving his offensive team down the field, looking for the tie in what was a strange and bizarre sequence late in this 4th quarter.
When he's on the field.
movement on the left side by the left.
He was one of 9 selections in the state, and he said it was a harrowing experience. You know, where they come out, they interrogate you, but he's one of those guys that can think on his feet. You know, and he has the ability to be able to see a defense deploy as it's moving and read it at the same time and make those decisions. And the accuracy is second to none.
Giants led 20.
Keyshawn, hook and ladder. And they give it back, McCardell. This is looking like the old Stanford band play. They get it all the way across.
Now they're in trouble, though.
Yeah, exactly. When you get Kosi Coleman trying to run it, he gives it to another lineman, Cornell Green. This is like a rugby scrum. Everybody is okay, and that'll end it.
2-yard return with 23 seconds remaining. Giants have 1 timeout. Quarterback comparison, second half. Collins 10 of 14, 102 yards, a touchdown pass to Ike Hilliard, and he also ran in that 2-point conversion. Jim Fossil going for the 2-point conversion with a 12-point lead, and it pays huge dividends for the Giants.
Giants are going to take a knee here. They're going to go to overtime. They don't want to chance a bad play.
Position for the Giants.
Interception, and that's going to go back to the house. Touchdown. 14-0. Tampa Bay down. Let's go to the fourth quarter. The players did. Same score. Brad Johnson. This time, safe and sound to Michael Pittman. And he's into the end zone. 14-7. Tampa Bay in it. Moving at the line of scrimmage. All right, well, let's just play it anyway. Free play, right? Johnson, Keenan McCardell in the shadows. Touchdown. Let's decline the penalty, coach. Final seconds. John Carney lining up.
Good snap, good hold. It's up.
Picture tells 1,000 words, and here's one word: victory for New Orleans. The Saints beat the Buccaneers for the 3rd time in a row. Look at that, New Orleans 4-5, and Tampa Bay, the defending Super Bowl champs, 4-4. And right in the middle of that NFC South. Big game for Aaron Brooks, only 142 yards, but leads the team to victory. Brad Johnson puts up some good fantasy numbers, but takes the...
Sure was. to forcing third down. You see just a quick slant here. Jets feeling the emotion of this crowd and responding.
Jets portion of the crowd on their feet. Third down and 7. Giants have converted 5 of their last 6 third down plays.
And here's the leading pass rusher in the NFL, Sean Ellis, one-on-one on the outside.
Jets tried to call timeout. Ball was snapped, but the Jets are awarded. Monty Toomer over the 100-yard mark. New Giants record is 18th 100-yard game. Barber on the pitch from Collins. Down to the 37. Giants getting closer and closer to field goal range.
Tough sledding for Tiki Barber today. Hasn't had a lot of big runs, not a lot of breakaways. Credit the Jets defense for tightening things up from what they've done this season.
Giants now at the Jets 37-yard line. Brett Conway's career-long field goal is a 55-yarder. Empty backfield again. Collins very comfortable with the empty backfield. And the pass is caught by Shockey. Down at the Jets 28.
We asked Jim Fassel about Brett Conway, his field goal kicker, what his range was. He said he felt comfortable once they were inside the 30-yard line. He just made that penetration.
Conway signed last month to replace the injured Matt Bryant, who is still not kicking, not coming along as quickly as the Giants had hoped for.
If I was the Giants, I wouldn't rely on my kicker or that operation or anything. A lot more faith in Kerry Collins throwing passes.
On the 28, Barber gains just 1. Down to the 27-yard line.
And, you know, wonder what's going through Jim Fassel's mind, the play calling here. You know, I mean, he's got the ball down there inside the 30. He's got a field goal kicker there. There's a risk putting it up in the air and staying aggressive. I mean, that's what got them that win in Minnesota last week. They stayed aggressive.